Some words are used to point to that which cannot be described, because you can only describe what is physical, what you see. Even space you can see, because from here to there to the camera there are two objects which is mind knows physical, and in between I can see the space. So everything the mind knows is physical. But where this physicalness arises from, mind is not aware of, has no knowledge of it. And some words are used over time, just like a word called truth. But mind get confused or attaches meaning to what is truth or any other words that used, because that cannot be defined. And what can be defined you can know. Even the word called God, you already know a notion of God. A baby does not know God. You ask a baby, hey baby, do you want to know God? It will laugh at you. Not even laugh at you, it will just have no clue, a newborn baby. But when it gets introduced to the temples, to the images, this is God or God is up, down, then obviously there is some kind of notion. That is the misunderstanding, including the word called truth. The words truth and false are powerful, but they have been used in the wrong places. And when words are misplaced, confusion becomes permanent. So, this is not about redefining truth, it is about restoring clarity. There is truth and false at the level of the facts, like you live the world, as you know. Gravity pulls downwards, fire burns, water is wet. If someone says water is metal, that is false, not because of opinion, but because reality contradicts it. If the child says, I did not eat the ice cream, while the evidence is clear, that is false. This level of truth is necessary. Without it, daily life collapses. This is functional truth, measurable, observable, verifiable. It has nothing to do with the wisdom. It has nothing to do with awakening, nothing to do with God. It simply works. Without that, you cannot function. But confusion begins when the same framework is carried into a place where it does not belong, into identity, into meaning, into life itself. Here, truth and false do not function the same way. At the level of what is, that which cannot be defined, that is known by many other names, but it has no name of itself. Call it God, call it ultimate reality, call it beyond, call it whatever name. There is no opposite to truth. Not truth, the meaning of it, but the word that is pointing to, which is not even truth. That has no opposite at all. What is does not compete with an idea. It does not argue, it does not prove itself, it does not correct anything. False here does not mean wrong, it does not mean immoral, it does not mean mistaken. False here means misunderstanding. Just as believing water is glass is misunderstanding, believing in division, center, ownership, hierarchy, and separation is misunderstanding. Not because it is evil, not because it is sinful, but because it is not how reality is structured. Again, this reality word is used, but the reality word that mind understand, this word does not point to that kind of reality. Truth here is not a statement, it is not a conclusion, it is not something arrived at. Truth here is undivided fact. Not this versus that, not me versus you, not mind versus world. Undivided. When misunderstanding drops, truth does not appear. It was already there. Nothing new is gained, nothing special happens. Nothing becomes holy. The distortion simply loses authority. This is why knowledge of truth do not argue belief. It does not replace one idea with a better idea. Words do not offer a higher philosophy. They do not invite agreement. They do not make another method. They do the same thing clarity always does. They reveal misunderstanding as misunderstanding, and once seen, it cannot sustain itself. Just as no effort is needed to stop believing water is glass, once it is clearly seen as water. If you don't know what water is, never seen it, and you believe it is like glass, but once you experience water, you can feel it, you can move through the water, you know this is water, glass is different. Misunderstanding cannot stay there because clarity now comes. This is also why no one here is called wise. No one is elevated, no one is made special. The moment someone is placed higher, division is reinforced, misunderstanding returns. Truth does not belong to a person. False does not belong to a person. Both belong to seeing or not seeing. So when these words are used, they are not used to judge. They are not used to teach. They are not used to correct others. They are used to point out something simple. Reality is already whole. Misunderstanding only appears to divide it. When misunderstanding ends, nothing replaces it. What remains was never missing. There is nothing here to believe, nothing to reject, nothing to carry forward. Only the quiet recognition that confusion was never truth and truth was never personal. And that ends the need for both seeker and the teacher. Because what is neither a teacher, neither a student. It is all that is. The word truth here does not refer to something seen, felt, sensed, experienced, or known. It is not inward and not outward. It is not subtle and not gross. It is not prior in time, not after, not before birth, and not reached after understanding. It is not here, not there. It does not arrive, it does not disappear. It cannot be approached by silence, meditation, inquiry, effort, or surrender. All movement towards it is already movement away from it. It is not hidden behind the senses. The senses arise within it, what this word points to. It does not belong to God, consciousness, awareness, or any name. So the word truth is used only to expose misunderstanding, not to describe what is, because what is cannot be described, even what is not describing it. When misunderstanding ends, nothing replaces it. What remains was never hidden, never achieved, never owned. And that is why there is nothing here to follow, nothing here to defend, and nothing here to become. Because any movement, any effort is a step away from what cannot be defined.